Kind of like that. And obviously, as we played, I mean, we're getting into playing, and you probably noticed that most of the times when I give examples, I shut my eyes. This isn't because I'm afraid, although I might be. Why is it? Good question. Why do you close your eyes? I think so. I close my eyes so I can get more in touch with what I'm playing. It helps me to get more in touch with the actual sound of the music and not be so concerned with what's around me. Other times I find keeping my eyes open can be interesting. It can be interesting to try to maintain, watch someone in an audience and be playing at the same time.
That's true. Yeah.
It can be interesting. Sometimes it can be a total drag, especially when you're playing, and a couple is falling asleep, at the table, That's not too nice. But anyway, for the most part, it's so I can get in touch with what I play. And it helps me to know where the notes are. In other words, if my eyes are closed, I can't watch what I play. I have to hear what I play. So if I'm in the key of A Phrygian, Whoops. And I have to know where these notes are. One string again. So trying to always feel my way and know where those notes are. This is how it relates back to the other things we were talking about, the single string playing, the intervals. By getting all these limitations is how I arrived at this point where I see in triads. So this is by using all these limited, is that a correct word? These limiting ideas, I arrived at learning the guitar a lot better. So that's why I play with my eyes closed.
Well, we try tuning and incorporate all these things in a performance and see what happens.
Sure, okay. Let's see if we can first use this tune, which is a standard chord progression, and see what we can come up with in terms of a motivic way. Because this whole idea of motif sounds like somebody's name to me. Alexander Motif.
There he is.
In other words, what I was doing and transposing it, obviously. Same rhythmic and melodic shape, just moving it to a different place in the key as John was playing. Mm-hmm. So I hope that was obvious.
You also changed that a lot rhythmically, too. You place it in a different place in the bar.
Yeah.
You do that a lot. It's nice, too.
It's taking one idea and trying to really milk it. In other words, instead of saying, oh, here's my one idea that I played on A Phrygian, now let me find a new idea to play on G7th or a new... Why find a new idea? Why not take that germ of an idea and develop it so it fits other situations? I mean, just like this idea, if we... it could be A Dorian. Or you could literally transpose it to another key. In other words, same rhythmic shape. Now it's fitting a whole new harmonic area. It's not A Phrygian, it's more A Dorian. So that's a more literal transposition to another key. And that, on the guitar, it's obvious. You can, if you have a phrase that's here, if you move it a half step or a whole step or wherever, you're transposing it into another key. But sometimes you may just want to change one note of it. Let's see. Just gives you puts you in a different kind of perspective. It's not literally moving it into another key. It's just changing one note, which maybe goes out of the key. Then you start to hear how notes that are outside of this would be a good thing to demonstrate. I didn't even think about, but to hear how notes outside of a key can work. If we play this A Phrygian thing again before we get into the song and see what I get that same kind of tempo. I'll start to introduce some outside notes, what I would call out of the key. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, Interesting. I don't know if that was exactly what I wanted to do, but try to show how you could use that same phrase and use it as a sort of a springboard for your improvisation. So you could play around that phrase if you were playing on a static harmony, so that you wouldn't always play in the key. You could move chromatically away from the key, but coming back to the key always gives it that flavor. If you just stayed out of the key all of the time, there would be no sense of coming back. There would be no sense of being out of the key, because you'd be out all the time. So you need that relationship, the tension, or harmonic tension, maybe. But now let's take this idea of motivic development, because when you apply it to a chord progression, it takes on another whole a meaning. Now we're going to take a standard chord progression, and I'm going to try to use some kind of a motif that's going to lead me through all of the chords. I won't play them literally on each chord, but you'll hear the motif. I already know what it's going to be. So we'll do that tune. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.